This is an Epiphone Les Paul Standard Pro, and this is a Gibson Les Paul Standard. You might be wondering what's the difference between the two guitars besides their $2,000 price point difference. Let's talk about it. The first thing we gotta do is go over the specs of these two guitars, and shout out to my friend Corey for lending me his Epiphone, which, spoiler alert, is a beast of a guitar. All right, let's zoom out and take a look at these two guitars. This Epiphone was made in 2018 in China, and this Gibson Les Paul was made in the US in 2016. The original price for this Epiphone was $799. Keep in mind, these are in Canadian dollars. And the original price of this Gibson was $2,899. Both bodies are made out of mahogany. The two maple tops of these guitars are very different. The Epiphone has a AAA carved veneer maple top, and the Gibson has a plain carved maple top. Now, if you're not familiar with veneer maple tops, import guitars usually use this process to make things a little bit cheaper. Veneer is like plywood. They take pieces of material, they glue it on top of each other until they form the right thickness. Whereas the Gibson has a plain carved maple top, it's a solid piece of maple. Both guitars have the Gibson modern weight relief. This guitar came in at 8 pounds, and this guitar came in at a hefty 8.8 pounds. The neck of the Epiphone is mahogany with the 60s profile. The Gibson has a mahogany neck with the 50s profile, which is beefy and thicker. Both fretboards are made out of rosewood and have trapezoid inlays. The nut on the Epi is plastic, and the nut on the Gibson is the Graphtec. The headstock on this Epiphone is the classic clipped ear, and the headstock on the Gibson is the classic open book style. The Epi has the standard 3-screw standard truss rod cover. The Gibson has the US version 2-screw. The Epi has chrome Grover tuners, which are really good, and the Gibson has the deluxe vintage style green tuners. Both have single ply cream binding on the body and the neck. The pickups are the Epiphone Pro Buckers with the 4-lead wire, 2-volume and 2-tone, and what I love about this guitar, it comes stock with the split coils, so you can split these humbuckers into single coil. These pickups are the classic 57s, and they sound so good. And I've actually modded this guitar to have the push-pull, so I can do single coil on this guitar as well. I've also added the Jimmy Page treble bleed circuit, so I can roll off the volume without losing that top end. And I've upgraded the wiring harness. The bridge is a lock tone tunematic and a stop bar. The Gibson has a Nashville tunematic and stop bar. Both guitars have nickel hardware. And lastly, the finish on the Epiphone is the blueberry burst in a high glass poly finish. The Gibson is a honey burst in a satin finish, which I really love because it's got that road worn feel. All right, enough nerdy talk. Let's play these bad boys. Our signal chain today are the Les Pauls, straight into our pedal board. All amp sounds are from the HX Stomp into our Universal Audio Vault into Logic Pro. Let's go. let's split the coil and the bridge. All right, now let's split the neck pickup and play one of my favorite songs. Now, all those sounds were recorded with the same amp from the HX Stomp. It's a Friedman model. And I gotta be honest, I'm pleasantly surprised at how good the Epiphone sounds. I was expecting a big difference in sound, but I gotta be honest, man, that's super close. Now, the next test we're gonna do, we're gonna use a clean amp to see what the clean tones sound like. We're gonna do the same thing, humbucker mode, and then we're gonna do the coil tap, see how it sounds. All right, let's go neck pickup. All right, let's do one more. Let's split the coil of the bridge pickups. Now, after playing those clean tones, I think the real difference can be found between these two guitars. The Gibson pickups, to me, just have more clarity, more punch, more top end shine, and the Epiphone is a little bit more muddy, and there's less output, especially in the single coil positions. What do I think about these two guitars and how are they different? First of all, it's not lost on me that $800 is a lot of money, and obviously $2,800 is a ton of money. So $800 is not a cheap guitar. Obviously, I'm a Gibson fan. I've been playing them since I was a kid. My first good guitar was an Epiphone Les Paul, and it took me 13 years to finally afford a Gibson Les Paul, which is this beauty right here. And it took me another 8 years to afford the Standard. The whole point of this video is I wanted to showcase how good Epiphones have come, and I'm so pleasantly surprised at how good the Epiphone sounded, especially in the dirty channel. Now, the biggest difference to me between these two guitars is the playability. The Gibson Les Paul Standard to me plays so much better. The action is perfect, the frets are amazing, the fretboard is just amazing. It's just a better playing guitar. In fact, when I was buying this guitar, I played every single Les Paul at Long & McQuaid in Vancouver that wasn't a custom shop. And I settled with this because it just played the best. And not only that, it looked badass because of the honey burst color, which reminds me of Slash's Jessica guitar. However, if you are a new or intermediate guitarist wanting to upgrade your guitar, an Epiphone is absolutely a great choice. Great bang for your buck, and you get the Les Paul thing. I hope this video helped you see what the difference between an Epiphone and a Gibson Les Paul is. If you made it to the end of the video, I appreciate you so much. Please consider liking and subscribing. Hit that bell for notifications. I will see you guys in the next video. Pick up that Epiphone and that Gibson, and let's go.